Hello, everyone. Welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. This is Ian Desher, Director of Nonprofit Marketing for Pivot Group, talking to you. And we are going to be talking today about the new Paper app from Facebook for mobile phones. And before we do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the news from the last 4 weeks of social media, the social media world. So first of all, this is a really sort of helpful thing that popped up on my Facebook screen in the last month, and now I've started to see it active on the Facebook pages where I'm an administrator. The you can now see from your Facebook page, when you are an administrator of a Facebook page and you're looking at your page and looking at who has posted, you'll be able to see which of the administrators posted a particular post on your page. And this is really helpful. I mean, it's going to be especially helpful for large companies who, especially if they are trying to figure out, hey, who is behind that, or what happened there? Was there, it's just going to be useful to know who's doing the posting on your site. Something that they've added that I think will be a benefit for all companies, really. Just so you can communicate better as administrators and know who's posting what when. I think it's a really useful thing. Also, Facebook has sort of somewhat given up on its email service. If you remember, it was it was probably a year and a half, maybe even 2 years ago at this point, that Facebook had sort of revamped its messaging service, and they went through and they changed everyone's about page on your individual profile so that the email address that was showing up there was now your facebook.com email address instead of the email address that you would put in, with your profile information. And they were going to be delivering, all this, mail to, to this new address that they'd assigned you. Well, now they've gone back on that, and they've said, you know what, we realize that people are not using their Facebook email addresses the way that we thought they were going to, and so we're just going to let that forward on to your default email address. So you can see that they've made that choice, and I think it's a good admission on their part. If nothing else, helps show that Facebook is real and can admit when they're maybe they're making a mistake or have made a mistake, and it's not then forcing people into using their email addresses in ways that people don't want to. So a recognition that their messages service is not sort of what they hoped it would be, which is sort of the be all and end all in terms of how people communicate with each other. If you watched the Oscars or heard much about the Oscars, you'll know that Twitter was really the big winner when it came to social media sites. When the Oscars happened, there's this now famous photo of that Ellen DeGeneres got all of these famous actors together to take this selfie, and then encouraged people to try to make it the most retweeted photo ever on Twitter, and succeeded very quickly, and so quickly, in fact, that Twitter, that Twitter broke, that Twitter stopped functioning for a little while there during the Oscars because so many people were on there and were retweeting this. So it was an interesting. Interesting to see that Twitter sort of rose to the top in terms of the social media service that most people were on and were commenting about. Another article that I saw said that in terms of sort of number of people using Twitter during the Oscars, that audience alone was almost as high as the number of people watching the Oscars on ABC. So another, I think the numbers were something like 38 million users on Twitter during the Oscars versus 43 million people actually watching the broadcast on ABC. So really not that far off in terms of Twitter garnering an audience. So really interesting to see how Twitter has become the place where we talk about live events as they are unfolding. It's sort of the place where our cultural conversation happens about live events. It happens the same when sporting events are happening and things like that. So interesting to see. And speaking of Twitter, I saw an interesting study that says that companies apologize on Twitter way more than individuals do. So it was interesting to read, that being a company means that if you have a Twitter account, at some point or other, you very well may be finding yourself apologizing. for something that you did. Or something that one of your employees did. Here's an example from Purell. So I just thought that was interesting that companies that are brought into the public sphere end up having to apologize and say they're sorry for things that have happened more than individuals feel that they need to. And so now I want to get into the focus, which is Facebook's Paper app. So if you don't know what Paper is, and of course I'm going to show you in a minute here, but sort of the high level version of what Paper is Facebook has created this app that it's sort of an aggregate reader of different things. So it's not only pulling in information from your Facebook account, but also pulling in some other information. And they've created what is really truly just in terms of the way it works and the way you navigate through it, it's really beautifully done. And it's something to know about because it's sort of a big splash for Facebook, and it remains to be seen how many people will really be using it a lot. And I'll be talking about some takeaways after I show you the functionality. But anyway, that's why we're talking about this as a focus today. So when you first download Paper, I just thought it was cute. There's this opening video that plays, that sort of shows different ways in which people have communicated over time, and then of course settles finally on the Paper app itself. And then it starts setting up, and then the first thing that Paper asks you to do is start putting in some of your interests. So of course they're going to offer you Facebook firsthand, as that might be something that you want to have as part of this aggregate reader, and so it gives you that option, and then you just swipe that up to the top, and so you select that if that's one that you want to read. And then you can see that as I went, it says, okay, what's the next topic that you want to read, and you get to choose from a few different things. Down here in the bottom, you can swipe through these to see the other options. So I added tech, I added pop life because I'm interested in entertainment. I added, well, you can see some of these others. So you've seen some things about art, some things about sports, cooking things. I added an ideas one here. Families, if you just are into cute things, they'll serve that up for you. So that's what happens, and then once you're done, it takes you immediately first into your into the Facebook version of it. And so with the Facebook version, what you're getting is all of the stories that you would see in your news feed are along the bottom here, and you can take them and you can see this sort of example that it's showing you. It's saying take this and swipe it up to the top. And then that story is going to then appear. And here I caught it sort of halfway in motion here. These screenshots were sort of fun to get because I was trying to capture them as the animation was happening. But you can see that as you swipe it up, then it's starting to take the place of what was there before, so that then it is finally all the way in place. And so that's one thing to know about what you can do with it. And then you can start swiping, left to right in between stories, as it says here. To move to the next story, swipe left. So you can just go, straight back and forth, and you can start seeing pictures that people have uploaded, videos, just their status updates like this, that sort of thing. A really interesting one that I thought, and again, just sort of interesting how they've thought through some of this. With people's photos, if somebody has uploaded a big photo, they will show you sort of the center of it. And then they give you this option to sort of tilt your phone back and forth, and that way you can start exploring some of the other, parts of the picture. So this was one that was taken at a concert, and I could start tilting it back and forth and start seeing other parts of that picture. So a clever thing they did to sort of use your mobile device and use the fact that you're using a mobile phone and sort of play with that and all of the things that a mobile phone can do as a way that you can explore things within Facebook. So then there are also options here. This is an example. I showed this example because this is a page, like a company's page. This is a singing group. This is a singing group's page, but as opposed to an individual post. So you are getting company page posts showing up. So the companies that you like or the pages that you like, their posts are going to be showing up in this as well, which is good news for all of us. Then there are some sharing options. So you can you can go and you can pull up these sharing options for yourself, and then you can go ahead and share your own things, right? So you can create your own post. You can change what sections are showing, so that whether it's the pop or the tech or the art section or whatever, or the cute, whatever you picked, you can rearrange those, and then you can also go into some of your settings as well. So the post writing looks kind of like what you'd expect it to. You tap in here, and the keyboard on your phone comes up and lets you post that way. And then there is you can also go to your own profile, where everything on your own profile is sort of looking like looking as it might within the rest of the news feed. I'm sorry, within the rest of the paper app. So that's something that's also good to know, is that they've changed your profile so that you can look. They're basically turning everything into this sort of aggregate reader. So this is an aggregate reader then about yourself. Is what the profile looks like. And then they have these other categories that I mentioned, or sections is what they're calling them, right? So here's the tech section, where you're pulling in all of these different stories from various news sources that are all related to tech in one way or the other. Is this section. And you can see as I'm starting, this is an example of me starting to swipe over to the next story, or I'm sorry, actually, I think starting to swipe over to the next section entirely. So that then I was getting into the next section over, which I think was maybe the pop section. Then some of the settings, you can go and change some of the settings within the paper app. So do you want this app to be sending you push notifications through your phone? Do you want to be tapping for the next story or swiping? Do you want the photos to auto pan, to do sort of a Ken Burns effect, or do you want to tilt your phone to see those? Do you want videos to autoplay? So Facebook has added autoplay functionality to all of their to their site in general. That you're going to start seeing autoplay videos very soon, and so they give you this option within paper. Do you want the videos to autoplay? And then you can also add things to read later if you want to. This whole settings section you get to by sort of swiping down from the top of your screen to get into this settings section. And here's another something you can see when you get into some of this. When you start to open up some of your settings, this is the way that it starts to unfold. So they've done this cute thing where the animation of it almost looks like a newspaper unfolding, right? Which is why they're calling it Facebook paper, right? So they're giving you this sort of swooping look to it. Again, just some really well thought out things in terms of how they've handled the animation. So you can see some of that here as it opens up as well. So that's sort of a brief introduction to what paper is. It is sort of you almost have to experience it to really get the full sense of it, because they've done a lot of things with animation and the way that stories get animated. You can pinch and drag and make photos smaller and bigger. You can do that. You can pinch down so that you're seeing the stories along the bottom in a smaller way. You can really do lots of different things to sort of play around with the animation. It's very creative in a lot of ways what they've done. And so some of it, is really just you want to go in and play around. I did a lot of that and was really impressed with what they did. So I want to talk about some takeaways for this, and I have 10 different things to talk about here. So first of all, it is a new app, and we don't know at this point, how many people are going to adopt it, whether it's going to be something that we all end up using to browse Facebook as opposed to their own Facebook app for mobile phones. So at this point, we're sort of keeping our eye on it. It is pretty new to see is this something that is really going to take off. So that's always my caveat when introducing new technologies. But it does bring a super visual feel to Facebook. Even with text-only status updates, they're being laid out in a way that the text is larger if the status update is shorter, so that it's all fitting on one screen, and the text shrinks if it's a longer status. So they've given some thought to that in terms of how text gets laid out, which I think is was clever. And photos are super visual. The video's autoplaying. It really is, it has more of what I would call a sort of a Pinterest feel than what the normal Facebook on the Facebook website does. So it's very visual and very attractive. It is obviously built and optimized for mobile, and as I've been saying, I've been super impressed with the way that they are using the things that mobile phones can do in terms of tilting and swiping and all of that sort of thing to make different things happen within the app itself. So they've given a lot of thought to how they can be creative about it and even sort of bring some surprises to the user in terms of what different motions can do. The autoplay videos are featured. Like I said, there's something we're all going to see more of and get more and more used to as we use Facebook, whether it's on this paper app or on their mobile app or on their website. It's they have decided that autoplay videos are sort of the direction that they want to go, and so we're going to start seeing more and more of that. And that was partly signaled by this paper app. The photo browsing, I think, really is state of the art. They have optimized the paper app in many ways for photos, so people can really get the most out of photos. The whole tilting your way around the photo, the way you can manipulate the photo with your fingers by pinching the photo and making it bigger or smaller. They really have done a nice job of letting you browse through photos on Facebook and keeping the sort of text and other information that surrounds that those photos at a minimum. So again, I think they've done a really nice job with that. And then there are these additional categories that take you beyond Facebook. So this, I think, was it's something we haven't seen from Facebook before, right? Where all of a sudden there are these categories for tech and for news and for art and for ideas and for cute things. They're not things that anybody's posted in your Facebook timeline. They're not companies that you have chosen to follow at all, or pages you've chosen that you've liked. It is just these additional categories that Facebook has added, and they're doing it because they really want this to be a useful reader. They want it to be the place where you go to get your news during the day, whether it's news from your friends on Facebook or whether it's news of the world or news of a particular industry or something like that. So Facebook recognizes that for many of us, the first thing we do in the morning is sort of, we hop onto Facebook to see what's going on there, and then we look at our favorite news site to see what the latest headlines are, to see if there's anything big happening in the world right now, and so they're trying to take all of that and put it into one easy place where you can go between those different categories easily. You can keep up with whatever you want to keep up with, and it's all there in one app. So I think that's an interesting move that they've made, and certainly one that makes sense in terms of putting together an aggregate reader. Everything is contained within the app, so this is also a little bit different. And this even goes to the extent of if you click on a link to a website, so if somebody posts in there, if one of your friends posts a Facebook status update and it has a link to a website in it, and you click on that link, you are going to browse to that website within the Facebook paper app. It's not going to flip over to your phone's default browser to open up that link. And this is different even from the Facebook mobile app. It's different than I've seen any app handle this. It really is, in some ways, its own web browser because it is going to open up these pages within Paper itself. And certainly all of the photos and videos, all of that is contained within the app, all of the other categories. So again, it's something that Facebook is really pushing to try to make this your one-stop place. They don't even want you to be concerned with having been switched over to your browser and have to make your way back to Paper. They want it all to happen seamlessly within the Paper app, which I think is a really interesting concept and one we haven't seen before. And so things to be thinking about, these last three are sort of things to especially think about as you think about your own company and your company page and how this all affects you. Pages that people like are showing up. So if you have liked a page on Facebook, it will show up in this aggregate reader uh, just as it would on your Facebook news feed. So we are seeing that. So know that that's good news for all of us as businesses that our posts will be showing up here. The more interesting news, at least for right now, is that try as I may, I could not find any ads on the paper app, at least within the Facebook section. Now I don't know what their arrangement is with things that they're showing you on like the tech section or the cute section. I don't know if those are specific partners that they're working with to bring that content in. I don't believe it's any sort of advertising opportunity at this point. But I searched through the Facebook section, really, I searched a lot trying to find some sort of sponsored story or something like that showing up within my Facebook aggregate reader, and could not find it at all. All I found was posts from friends and posts from companies or pages that I'd liked. So it appears that they are not showing normal Facebook ads within the context of paper, at least at this point. There could be many reasons for that. It could be that they haven't figured out sort of the right price structure for it. It could be that they want to, people to adopt this new app without worry of having to be, having all these ads in their faces. It could be really any number of reasons. But for right now, ads are not there. But my last takeaway is that, of course, that means not yet, probably, right? I can't imagine that they won't be adding ads to this paper app at some point. I have to believe that Facebook is going to try to make money off of paper the way that they do off of their own service, and that you will find ads that are directly targeted to you, very possibly even sort of ads that are calling on location services. So where paper will know the app will sort of know where you are, and so there might be ads that pop up for something near you. I could definitely see that happening. So I do think that we will see ads come to the paper app. They're just not there yet, and so will be a matter of time, and we'll keep you updated on that. If we hear an announcement about ads being added to paper. So that's what I have for today. I'm letting you out a little bit early. Go take a little break. I appreciate you taking the time to join me today. I hope you all have a great weekend. The next Straight Talk on Social Media webinar will be Friday, April 11th, the second Friday of April, 11 o'clock Pacific time. Not sure yet what the focus will be, but we'll have a good time. And Dave Neustratton's next Straight Talk on Telco Marketing webinar for our telco clients should be Wednesday, March 26th at 11 o'clock Pacific time. So thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. Remember to keep your media social and your talk straight.